Okay, so in this session, I'm going to discuss how to launch browser and loading any page in browser in Selenium. Let's understand how we can launch any browser. So which browser you want to launch, you can give as an input, and which URL you want to load, yes, no, in a web browser, you can provide as an input. So let's now we try to understand how we can write a Selenium script to launching and loading a web page in a browser. So let's open my Eclipse ID. Here we have opened our ID. Now you can check here once our ID is open. So now in this ID, so last time we have created one project, Selenium Learning Project. Under this project, we have src main Java folder. Under src main Java, we have browser demo package. Yesterday I have created one class, launch browser demo. Let's now we create now new class. So how we can create a class? Just right click on your package and go to the new, and here we have option class. And here you can give the class name launch browser demo 2. And you can select main method and you can click on finish button. I'm selecting the main method here, and now we click on finish button. Now inside main method, let's now we write our script. What the script we need to write down? We need to write a Selenium script for launching a browser and loading a web page into browser. Okay, how we can launch a browser? Using WebDriver, yes, no? So here, inside the class, let's first we declare some variables. I declare one variable public static. I will declare WebDriver. I require one WebDriver. So I declare one variable WebDriver. Using WebDriver, we can launch browser. So we can use WebDriver here, WebDriver. Let's we declare one variable WebDriver. And now, which browser you want to launch? So I'm not going to give hard-coded value. Here we declare one variable. That variable will contain the browser information. So I will declare one string variable and give the variable name browser. So now in this variable, you can store the browser name that you want to launch. So suppose here we want to launch which browser? Suppose I'm interested to launch Edge browser. So let's here we specify the browser name Edge. Now, which URL, which web page you want to load into the browser? So here you can declare one variable, that variable which contain the URL of web page that we need to load. Which URL we want to load? We want to load which browser? Sorry, which URL, guys? So here we type on saucerdemo.com. Here we have one site. You can check out saucerdemo.com. And now we copy this URL and go to your ID. And now we paste that URL. Here we are pasting the web page URL that we want to load in a browser. So here we have declared, you can check in the class, we have declared 3 variables. One is a WebDriver type. Another is a browser variable, which contains the browser information, which browser you want to launch. And third variable, it contains URL, which URL, which web page that you want to load in a browser, it contains that web page URL. Okay, before launching browser, we need to check user is interested to launch which browser. So how we can check here? Here we can put a condition if statement, browser value we can check here. If browser.equals, we can compare browser value. If browser value is Chrome, suppose if browser value is Chrome, it means we want to launch which browser? We want to launch Chrome browser. If you want to launch Chrome browser, it means you need to set up the driver for ChromeDriver. For which browser you want to launch? If you want to launch Chrome browser, then you need to set up driver for Chrome browser. So how we can set up the driver? How we can set up the driver? Yeah, last time we have discussed, we have one class WebDriverManager. Using WebDriverManager class, we can set up the driver for your browser. So WebDriverManager, on this you can call one method. This is a class. On this class you can check a ChromeDriver method, which return WebDriverManager as the output. And then you want to set up, you can call setup method, which set up the driver for Chrome browser. Once driver is set up, then you can open the browser. So open the browser. So how we can open the browser? We can open the browser using WebDriver. So here you need to create WebDriver. Which WebDriver instance? ChromeDriver, because we want to launch which browser? ChromeDriver. So here you need to create the instance for ChromeDriver. So here we need to create WebDriver equal to new ChromeDriver. Okay, this condition may be false. If condition is false, then else if we need to check one more condition. And now here we need to check the browser value. Browser.equals. If browser value is Edge, so we need to set up the driver for Edge browser. Now here we set up the driver for Edge. Yes, no? So now we write the code setup. Here we need to set up the driver. Yes, no? Driver for Edge. How we can set up the driver? Using WebDriverManager. WebDriverManager dot which method you need to call? EdgeDriver. If you want to set up EdgeDriver on WebDriverManager class, you need to call EdgeDriver method, and then you need to call setup method to set up. And then open the browser. Open a browser. You need to open the browser. How you can open the browser? Which browser? So here we need to create the WebDriver instance. Which WebDriver? Here we want to launch which browser? Here we want to open Edge browser. So we need to create EdgeDriver. Which instance? EdgeDriver. And then suppose if this condition is also false, then we need to check suppose one more conditions. Suppose someone is launched Firefox. So we need to check first of all if browser value is Firefox. Yes, no? So Firefox. Then you can set up here set up driver for Firefox. So how we can set up driver? Using WebDriverManager dot setup method. You can call WebDriverManager dot here we need to call which method? Firefox driver, and then you can call setup method. Now open the browser. So which browser? Firefox. So here we need to create the instance for WebDriver. Which WebDriver? Firefox. Now Firefox. Now, so based on requirement, here we have set up the driver for a browser, and we are launching the browser. Once browser is launched, then what we want to load a new web page in the current browser window. So how we can load new web page in the current browser window? So if you want to load new web page in the current browser window, on this WebDriver, in the WebDriver, we have several methods. We have one method, get method. You can check here. So this get method, what will take as a parameter? You can check here. What will take this method as a parameter? Get method will take as a parameter as a string URL. What it will take? String URL. So it means you can pass the URL of the web page that you want to load in the current browser window. Which URL page, just know which page you want to load in the current browser window. So on WebDriver, you can call get method and you can pass that URL. So I have declared at the top one URL variable which contain the URL value of the web page. So this method, what does this method load a new web page in the current browser window. What is the use of get method of WebDriver? So get method of WebDriver used to load a new web page in the current browser window. So once web page is loaded, yes, no, then now we want to run this script. I want to run this script. So right click on your application file and go to the run as, and here you have option Java application. Just click on Java application and now you can check. So check in the console first of all. So it will take little bit time, just you need to wait and then you can check. Now you can check here, Microsoft Edge WebDriver was started successfully. Your browser is successfully started and now you can check here, it will load this page in the browser. Now saucerdemo.com is loaded. Now browser is launched, and once browser is launched, you can check it. Once browser is launched, then automatic it will load which current web page. Yes, no, it will load new web page in the current browser window. Which web page we want to load? I want to load this web page. So you can check here, it will launch one browser and it will load that. Okay, my requirement after, suppose once you have load a new web page in the current browser window, then we want to close the browser. So how we can close the browser? So in the WebDriver, you can check here. Here we have one method, close method. You can check here. Close method, what does? Close method close the current window. If you want to close the current window, you can use close method. So in the WebDriver, we have one method that is a close method. So what is the use of close method of WebDriver? Close method used to close the current window. Let's save it. And once again, we run this application and check the output. Now we run this application. Now you can check here. It will launch the browser and load the new page in the current browser window, and then it will close the page. You can check here. It will launch the browser. Now it loading the web page in the current browser window, and after loading, it will close. Now I want to wait, suppose I want to wait for 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds, yes, no, we want to close. Then what you can do? So here you can give a delay. So you can use thread. In this thread, yes, no, you can call sleep method. Just I giving delay 2000 millisecond. 2000 millisecond means 2 seconds. Now it raised the exception. So just I'm handling this exception here. Now you can save it and you can check here. If you click run as and Java application, you can check here. Now again, it will launch a browser. It will load a new page in the current browser window. and it will wait 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds it will close the browser window. You can check it. After 2 seconds it will close the browser window. So in this way we can write a script to launching a browser and loading a new web page in the current browser window. Clear?